Minnesota Today podcast is supported by Atomic Data, reminding you of the top 5 security risks facing businesses: insider threats, ransomware, social engineering, compromised credentials, and a skills shortage can threaten your data and users. Download the infographic at atomicdata.com/top5.
This is Minnesota Today for Thursday, October 7th. I'm NPR News reporter Tim Nelson. Here's our top story right now. Health officials in Minnesota issued a dire warning today saying that hospitals and healthcare are under unprecedented strain and that a surge in COVID cases is threatening serious consequences for the state's healthcare. Kevin Croston is a surgeon and CEO of North Memorial Health, which runs 2 hospitals.
We're pulling every single lever we can to preserve an excellent quality of care for you when you need us.
He spoke at a briefing by the Minnesota Department of Health today.
The reality is that the staff are exhausted and they're working harder than they ever have. We have staffing shortages that continue to be a very big challenge and have actually reached a critical level.
The head of children's hospitals in Minnesota seconded that concern. Mark Gorlick said that RSV, an illness typical for children in the winter, had a summer surge accompanied by a sharp rise in mental health emergencies and COVID cases.
And all of this has led to record hospital occupancy, a near doubling of ER visits since early spring, and a 17% increase in the last month alone.
They and other health leaders pleaded for Minnesotans to step up efforts to clamp down on COVID transmission, including masking, hygiene, and vaccinations. Croston noted that every single person in his hospital's ICU units with COVID had not been vaccinated before they fell ill. In other COVID news, a group of parents has sued an Iron Range school district over its decision to require masks. Kirsty Marone reports.
The Rockridge School District formed last year when the Virginia and Eveleth-Gilbert districts merged. On September 27th, the school board voted to require students to wear masks while inside school facilities due to a rise of COVID-19 cases. About 285 parents filed a lawsuit against the district. They argue that students who exercise their right to refuse what they call unwanted and unwarranted medical treatment will be denied their right to an education, and their parents subject to criminal prosecution. They want the district to stop implementing its COVID mitigation plan, remove the mask requirement, or create an alternative learning option for students. The school district website says there were 44 confirmed COVID cases in the district when the school board decided to require masks. That's double the number of cases last year when the school district switched to distance learning.
That's NPR reporter Kirsty Marone. And Minneapolis police say a woman riding a scooter on a downtown sidewalk was run down and killed Wednesday night amid an apparent running gun battle through the city. Police say they were first called to a report of a shooting on Nicollet Avenue, just south of downtown, shortly after 11 p.m. Officers found indications of a gunfight between people in 2 vehicles. Within minutes, there was a crash near Target Field. Police found 2 vehicles there, apparently involved in a high-speed crash. One of the vehicles went off the road and hit a woman riding on a scooter on the sidewalk. She died at the scene. Her death is considered the 74th homicide in the city this year. Police said multiple adult males were seriously hurt in the crash. Investigators found guns in both vehicles and say they believe the vehicles were connected to the earlier shooting. And here's what else we're watching. A new study shows that the pandemic caused childhood vaccinations to drop in 2020. The national study, published in JAMA Pediatrics and led by the Health Partners Institute, shows that fewer children were up to date on their routine vaccinations in September of 2020 than a year earlier. Researchers noted in particular that vaccination rates among children who identify as Black were lowest across most age groups. Researchers say this underscores pre-existing inequities in access to health care that were exacerbated during the pandemic. And theater artist Faye M. Price is this year's recipient of the McKnight Distinguished Artist Award. Price was the driving force behind the Pillsbury House Theater, a landmark stage in Minneapolis's Powderhorn neighborhood for years. She's been a stage actor, director, dramaturge, and leader in bringing Black theater to the forefront of the Twin Cities cultural scene. She joins the ranks of Minnesota cultural legends like Bill Holm, Libby Larson, and Wing Young Huey as winners of the annual award, which also includes $50,000. In sports, the Minnesota Wild played the Chicago Blackhawks in a preseason game tonight in St. Paul. The Wild beat the St. Louis Blues last night 4-3. The Wild allowed all of the Blues goals in the first 5 minutes of the game, but tied it up with an empty net goal with less than a minute left to play, then scored again for the overtime win. And here's a look at the weather. Tonight, look for mostly cloudy skies with lows in the mid-50s to the lower 60s. Friday will be mostly cloudy with highs in the 70s, but cooler near Lake Superior. That's it for Minnesota Today. Thanks for listening. I'm Tim Nelson. Phil Picardi will have an update in the morning. Until then, stay safe and stay healthy.